Welcome back to Flosstube number 49. My name is Jade and I'm the 310 Stitcher here on YouTube as well as Facebook and Instagram. My contact info is down below. This is my Flosstube channel. It's my little corner of the internets where I like to share my love of mostly cross stitch, but also some knitting and occasionally some crochet as well. So today I'm so hopefully you're in the right spot. First of all, hopefully you like crafty things. And yeah, so today I'm filming in a different corner of the room. You guys will probably, if you've been here before, you've watched or you've seen the closet doors that usually are behind me. Right now they're to the side with all the floss monsters for various projects. Okay, so a few things. First of all, so what are we going to have today? Today we have two new starts. We have a finished object. Yes, a finished object. I am mostly a full coverage stitcher, and I do have some non-full coverage as well, but being mostly a full coverage stitcher, I don't get finishes very often, so I'm excited when I do finally get one. What else? I have a bunch of WIPS for you. We have to do a new pick, a new start pick off the wheel. And what else? I guess I'll throw in a couple of other small things. I do have some a knitting project to show you as well. Yeah, so and whatever else I think of, which I can't think of right at the moment. Okay, so why don't we start with my finished object? Okay. So in my book, so I have a book. There we go. It's just an artist sketchbook, which I used. And what I do with this is I put all my WIPs in it. So I have a table of contents at the beginning. And let me just show you a good page. Okay, so I have to work on this. I haven't worked on it in a little bit, but what I have is, oops, sorry, I've got printouts of things that are sliding out. So what I have is a page, I have a two-page spread for each WIP. And so you can see this is Sunset in Venice, and just some basic details as to what the size of it is, when I started it, hopefully when I finish it, and fabric and floss details. And what I wanted to do, the reason this is a two-page spread is because at the end of every year, I want to have a picture of what the progress is from the end of the previous year. So my camera, I had a little camera. I don't see it right off the bat, but anyways, I had a little. Oh, actually, I do have it. Sorry, one sec. I had to buy another one because my previous one disappeared, which is why Sunset in Venice hasn't, and most of my projects don't have those year-end picks yet, but I will do them. So I had a previous little printer before, and it's gone missing when I moved rooms, office / craft rooms. It disappeared somewhere, so I'm not sure where it is. So I ended up buying another one. So what these do, well, I don't have to take it out. Basically, it just has a little, it's small, it's 2x3, little, you print it right from it uses Bluetooth from your phone. So that's what I want to do, is I just want to put those pictures, showing the progress, and then the final picture at the end. So, and then what I decided that I'm going to do, so I do have some things in here that I've not started yet that I would like to. For example, I have this beach that I like to do, that I would like to do. I don't know if I'm going to get to some of those. I don't know if I'm going to get to. And like, here's another howling wolves. I don't know if I'm going to get to those. But the other thing that I would like to do is, well, this one I definitely want to do. Mini Enchanted Castle too. And this one I do have started. It's the bitter half. Anyway, sorry. So I keep getting distracted. The other thing I would like to do is to put some of my finishes in. So for example, here's one from the Stitch North retreat that I went to in 2023. So I guess 2 years ago, almost exactly. This was a Brennan Nettle actually provided both the floss and the fabric, and so that's what I've done is I've taped it in there. I know tape is probably not the best thing to do, but that's what it looked like. It's called, the pattern is called Here We May Be Free, using their variegated floss. This was the first time I used variegated floss, so that's what I like to do with some of my smalls as well. All that to say is that the finished object that I'm about to show you is also going to go in here. And it is Roy Kent. So here it is. I did a crappy job sewing the edges, so I have to, and I haven't, so this has been washed, but it's not been ironed yet. So I'm gonna fix that before I put it in my book here. So this will make no sense to you if you have not watched Ted Lasso. If you haven't, you should. It's a lot of fun. Just like I said before, it's just wholesome. It's just a fun, wholesome show, and about an American football coach that goes over to Britain to coach a professional soccer team that is failing. Anyways, it's a lot of fun. Roy Kent is one of their stars, and whenever he is on I keep wanting to say the pitch, but that's a baseball term, I think, right? So whenever he's on the field, the crowd screams out his name, and Roy Kent, he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. And I just thought it would be fun to do this. So this pattern was from ABIT on Etsy. They're no longer there. I changed the colors to just fun colors that I liked, and it's a mixture of so I think this orangey is 60, and then the rest of it is from my paint box collection. So these are from, I wanted to give them a try. I ordered these like quite a long time ago. So they're from Paint Box, which I think is Lovecraft's. There it is, Paint Box. From Lovecraft's, I believe. They're 100% cotton, 100% mercerized cotton, and I wanted to try them. I really like them. They're very much like DMC in terms of feel and coverage and stuff. I actually like them a little bit better than DMC because they don't seem to knot as much. Anyways, the one problem is that they have their own complete different numbers which don't match up with DMC. So I'm just going to be using them for small things like this. So anyway, so I haven't made a spread yet for this, but this is going to go in my book. And so you are not likely to see it again. Okay, so that's my finished object. Super excited, and also I had wanted to show you my little book. I know this is probably gonna get, if I put too many in there, it's gonna get a little messy, but, or like thick. That's okay. I just would like to have some place to put my littles, and I have a couple. I keep looking over here because I have a couple of other small things that I need to put in here. I need to spend some time and work on this, and I'm thinking maybe, well, now that I have another little camera, I can start working on those photos again, the progress photos. I'm just gonna put this over here. Okay, so today I'm filming on my iPad, and I know it seems like I'm looking sideways. It's hard to just look at where the camera actually is, so I apologize if I'm looking sideways. Okay, one other thing actually before we go is, well, actually this is one of my WIPs. We might as well start with the WIPs, and we'll start with the WIP that I actually forgot to include on my WIP parade. So that is right here. This is why I forget it, because it's not in my basket of WIPs. It's in a scroll frame. And this is the Veil of Death. And what I should have done is pulled up the photos. So bear with me for 1 second. So this is a chart. So it's charted by Haid. It is artwork from Chris Ortega. It's 675 by 579, so it's not small. That's what it's going to look like when it is eventually completed. I'm working along the top right up to just above her head. So that's what I'm currently working on. I have this on scroll frame because it's the perfect size for it. I guess it's maybe a little bit too long for these, but that's okay. Oops, that's upside down. So I forgot to include this in my WIP parade, but that's okay. So I'm working across the top. I've worked all the way across, and since the last time, so my last regular Flosstube was May 29th. So it's been, today's June 17th. So it's been about 2.5 weeks. And in the past 2.5 weeks, I've mainly been working all of this black that's in here. And there's some dark brown in there as well. How many stitches have I done? I have done 1,514 stitches. I only worked on it the 1 week, but that's where we are. So you can see here, this is the crown of whatever it is, daggers or something that's around her head. Yeah. So when I was working on this, I was just trying to get as many stitches, bulk stitches as I could in there. Still there. Okay. By the way, so since the last, just fun fact, so since my last video, I have put in 5 stitches short of 14,000 stitches. Now, bear in mind, that is a combination of full crosses and 10 stitch. So just take that for what it is. And the majority of that went into that Roy Kent piece. So I put in 4,559. Oh, this is what I was going to say about that piece as well. The Roy Kent piece, so if you've been here before, or if you've not been here before, the Roy Kent piece that I showed you, which is now finished, was the piece that I had started. So the last time I spoke with you, I had decided to start that piece as a 2 threads a day piece, until it was finished. Now I have done a lot of I've been doing a lot of traveling, and I've been in the car a lot, and just had been in places where I was just, you know, sitting and chatting with my family or whatever, or watching TV. And so I actually ended up doing a lot more than just 2 threads a day on many days, which is what let me get to finishing that. So now I need to replace it with another project that's going to do the 2 threads a day, and we'll get back to that. Okay, so let me finish going through the WIPS first. Okay, so my next piece that I have to show you is one of my focus pieces. This is Sunset in Venice. Let me show you what that's going to look like. And this is artwork by Dominic Davidson. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. It is a selecta size, so it's not the regular, it's not the super size, it's somewhere in between. It's 650 by 464. So it's got, I think it's something like 390,600 stitches. That is what it will look like. And what I'm going to show you is right in here. So if you didn't watch my WIP parade, I'm not going to show you the whole thing right now because it is back in the frame. If you want to see the whole thing and what I've done, I've basically gone all the way across the top row of pages and then all the way down, or I've been working all the way down. I had until about here 100% complete, and then this set of pages, I don't remember if this is 3 or 4 pages deep, it doesn't matter, but the set of pages was mostly done, but I had a whole bunch of ninja stitches to get in there, and then I had been working also down here. So I think it was like 6 pages that I was working on in here at the same time, because I was working on it in portrait mode. So after my WIP parade, I decided to put my frame back in landscape mode and go from the top down. So put it on this next round of pages and try to get some of the, oh, what's going on with the colors? And try to get some of those ninja stitches done. I think that's because of my, so I'm filming today on my iPad. I haven't done this. I haven't filmed on my iPad before, so we'll see how it goes. It's been doing some really weird things. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to show you now. And that is where I am. So that's that middle round of pages, and we just see the start of the gondola here. So this bottom set of pages is hidden in here, but I have been working on just filling this in and using the rest of my threads in here wherever it goes. So since the last time you saw this in a regular Flosstube, I put in, how many stitches? 959 stitches. And it's been slow going because, well, ninja stitches. So yeah, so I'm gonna, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to leave this in here, and I'm going to try to finish this building all the way down. I don't know if I'll continue. I think I'm going to leave that piece. I'm going to finish this building, so go all the way down, and then I'm going to go back down to the lower set of pages, finish that first, and then I'm going to go back across the top. So that is Sunset in Venice. This is being done, haven't told you, sorry. Both this one and that one are being done on 25 count, even weave. This one is being done 1/1 full cross. Veil of Death was 2/1 half cross. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay this over here. I have a mess around me. So that is Sunset in Venice. The next one, so not working on it. Bear with me for 1 second here. That one I'm not going to show you yet. Okay, so the next one I want to show you is the Salty Bitch. And I always forget who's the designer on this. So this is from Stitches So Beautiful. And that is what she's going to look like there. So this is being done on 25 count even weave from China. I'm working on this 2/1 half cross. Yeah, this is the top. And since the last time you saw this, I put in 677 stitches. So my goal for this one for the year was to get it to 1%. I've now met that goal. But I'm not done working on it for this month. So Stitches So Beautiful, every month they have a stitch along where if you put in a minimum of 250 stitches a week, then you get a free pattern at the end of the month, and you get entered into some a prize, a draw for a prize. So I am going to continue working on this for 2 more weeks, this week and next week. Yeah, and then this can go away. It doesn't mean that I'm going to not work on it for the rest of the year, but it just means that the goal is finished. So if I pull it out, it'll just be extra. But I have other projects that I do have goals on, so probably it'll be lower on the priority list, but we'll see. Okay, so that's that one. That is that one. Those are new. I do have some new starts, which I want to show you, but not yet. We'll show the new starts after my WIPS. Okay, so the next one is still out of the frame from my WIP parade because I've not worked on it, so I'll show you that. Take a sip. If you're offended by swear words, look away. I don't remember. I can't read. Pawley, Pawley Studios is where this came from. Anyways. Okay, so this is Home Sweet Home. Let me show you what that's going to look like in case you've not seen it before. Why do the zip files always show up first? I don't want the zip files. There we go. Okay. This is artwork by Diana Dengel, and it is charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. That's what it's going to look like when it's finished. Since my last Flosstube, I put in, hiccups. I put in 1,705 stitches. Okay. I'll show you the whole thing first. There we go. The confetti in this is insane. So this is pretty thick. This is being done on 25 count Lugana 2/1 half cross. There's still some stitches. I haven't done this little frame or the glasses. And I was working in this area last time. So there's more stitches in the kitty cat and down the area under the bed. And this is the bottom here. This is the bottom. So I'm just about to the bottom. I want to complete that. I want to complete this round of pages, this set of pages. I think that's about, I don't know, 8 pages or so. First, before I come back, and I don't know if I will come back over here and then work my way across again, or if I'll start from here and work my way across. I don't know. That is a question for a future date. So that is Home Sweet Home. I put in 1,705 stitches in that area, this area here, since in the past 2.5 weeks. That has to go back in a frame. Actually, probably what I'll do, because I really don't like parked threads, I really dislike them. So probably what I will do is, hold on. Probably what I'll do is the first thing I'll do is I'll move the frame over to this side and work in all of those. Then I'll probably come back over here. So the part, I don't like park threads, but I had my Q-snap here, and when I got to the edge of the Q-snap, I just parked them there because there is a lot more of those stitches beyond the borders of that. All right, my next piece. Okay, so this is the first time I've been able to participate in June Dog. So if you don't know what June Dog is working on any long dog sampler during the month of June. So it is hosted by the Crow Stitcher. Andy has been hosting it, I think, for the third year in a row. So you can check that out, the Crow Stitcher here on YouTube. So I'm doing this. Actually, I should show you what it is first, right? Okay. So, like I said, it's from Long Dog Sampler. And this is what the pattern looks like. This is my first and only Long Dog Sampler. I wanted to try it out, so of course I had to choose the biggest one, right? And I'm doing it in 2 different colors. So I'm using, I think this is 415, yeah, 415 gray for the archways. And then I'm using silk from Silks For You in the colorway Mood. Look at those beautiful colors. Beautiful. Anyways, this is the first time I'm using silk, and I love it. Oh, sorry, I should say it's the first time I'm using silk for cross stitch. I use silk for knitting all the time, and I actually also spin silk. Although I've never tried to spin a variegated It's always been single colors. But anyway, so that is the silk. And in the past, well, since June 1st, I've put in 610 stitches. I'm doing this on 28 count Jobelin, I believe. I could be wrong. 1/1, yeah, 1/1 full cross. So I had done all of the mood that you see on my trip earlier in March, and the 610 stitches are basically this archway here. It would be great if I could finish the arches all the way across this month. I don't know. I don't know if I'll get there, but anyway, so that is Saga. Okay, let me keep everything together. All right. Okay, next. Not that. I'll talk about that one in a minute. Okay, so the next one I want to show you is the Heaven and Earth Design Stitch Along. For 2025, sorry. The one I'm doing is called Jelly World. Not the zip. So this is by L&L Designs. It is you can't get it on their website. This was just excuse me. This was just for the purposes of the stitch along, so which you can't sign up for anymore. You have to, if they do it again, you'll need to sign up before the end of the year. They put it out in November or something. But anyway, so that is what it's going to look like eventually when it's finished. So for the stitch along, there's a couple of things. So there was about 12 patterns that were offered for you to choose from. They're all about 90,000 stitches. And there's a couple things. So if you finish the whole thing before the end of the year, then you will get all 12 of the patterns that were offered for the stitch along. Plus you get your pick of a free pattern, any free pattern you want on their website. If you finish 6 complete pages, so none of the partial pages, but if you complete 6 complete pages, then you get just all the 12 patterns that were offered as part of the stitch along. So that's what I'm aiming for, is just to get that 50%. This is where I am right now. This is the first 3 pages. So I'm still on the first installment. We've had 2 installments so far, and the 3rd installment comes, you know, at the end of the month or the beginning of July. So I am quite behind, but that's okay. Like I said, this is the first 3 pages, and I have put in 2,294 stitches in since my last Flosstube. I really, really like the colors. Some of the colors are very unexpected, which is very cool. But yeah, so that's that. I'm doing this on 25 count, 2/1 half cross. All right. Oh, that's also a new start. Is that everything? That's all my WIPS. Then I have 3 new starts. So, in case you've not been here before, since early last year or so, I have been, every Flosstube, every regular Flosstube, I will spin my wheel and pick a new start to start for that next 2-week period. So the one that got picked, wait, did this get picked? No, actually, so okay, so the one that got picked was actually called the Witch Sister Cell. It was the second time it was picked, and it's the second time I said, you know what, I don't want to start that right away. The reason for that is that one is a non-full coverage piece, and I think I'm at my saturation point for non-full coverage pieces for them in terms of, you know, larger pieces, or in terms of samplers, let's put it that way. It's, I don't really know how to describe it. I don't know all the terminology. It's not a historical sampler. It doesn't have alphabets or anything like that, but it's samplerish in terms of, you know, there's repeated motifs and stuff. Anyways, I am gonna hold off on that one. I have it all set to go. It's all kitted up, but I'm not gonna start that one until I finish another one of my samplers. What I chose to do instead of spinning the wheel again is I chose to start one of my new patterns that I purchased on the Cross Stitch Studio website. They had a sale. This is the largest piece that I will ever have. I don't think I'm going to have any other bigger pieces. And the artwork is by Abraham Hunter. Like I said, it's from the Cross Stitch Studios, and it is called Catching Rays. I have wanted this for a very long time, and I just never pulled the plug on it. And then I had decided at one point, you know what, I really would like to have a water-based piece, and I just couldn't find one that I liked as much as this one. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get it, and I'm just gonna get this one. And so that's the one I decided to start. I ordered fabric and it arrived very quickly. I didn't think it was gonna arrive this fast, but it did. And because it's very large. It's 1200 by 900, so it's 1,080,000 stitches. And this is where it is. So I'm doing it 2/1 half cross on 25 count. So that is what I put in. That is 845 stitches. Starting with a lovely blue. You can see all the fabric. It's huge. It's a tablecloth. It basically covers my whole table. It's a tablecloth. So that is it there. And will I ever get this finished in my lifetime? I don't know, but I'm gonna have fun stitching it, so that's okay. So that was my first new start. Okay, my second new start is actually a piece I saw on where did I see it? I'm not sure actually where I saw this. I think I was just scrolling, and this came up in my feed, and I wanted to get it. So this is The Birth of Venus, which is artwork by Caravaggio. That's what it's going to look like. You can see there it's 560 by 350. I didn't notice how big that was going to be when I ordered it, but that's okay. Let me show you the size of this thing. Can't back up enough to show you the whole thing at once. So So yeah, so it's a stamped kit, and I wanted to, sometimes the thing that ticks me off with some stamped kits is that so a couple things. One is the symbols can be not stamped very well. They can be stamped like overlapping other squares, then you're left confused as to, you know, which symbol goes in which square. This one is actually really good. The stamping is really good. It's nice bright colors. And then the other thing is just definition. So I wanted to see what that was going to look like, so I decided to work on her face. And there's her face. So it's not her hair is not 100% complete, but her face is. I think that's good. I did do a little bit of backstitch. You can see there. I don't know. I might take that out. I'm not sure, but I do like it, so I'm going to continue with it. I like to have, I don't know how many stitches that is. I don't count on these ones. I like to have stamped kits sometimes when I'm just, you know, my eyes are tired, or I'm just chatting with, you know, my family or whatever, and I just want to have something to do, or watching TV show, and I just want something to do, or I'm sitting with my husband, he's watching sports or something that I'm not like as much into as he is, and I'll sit with him and work on this. That way I don't need to pay attention to, I don't need my iPad, I don't need to pay attention to a pattern, I just need to follow the colors. So that's that. I'm gonna put this back in the bag. Okay, so that is that, and I have one more new start. So this is not cross stitch, it is embroidery. I used to embroider when I was a kid. My grandmother taught me how to embroider, and she taught me all kinds of stuff, and I, you know, you don't use it, you lose it, right? Completely forgot. And again, I think it was the same day that I was scrolling on AliExpress or something, and yeah, same day when I was ordering fabric actually for catching rays, and this came up on the feed, and it was a stitching book, and it was kind of like I apologize for the crinkling. I'll open this up because I want to show you. Sorry about the noise. Anyways, sorry, so where did the page that I did go? Here it is. Okay, sorry, I'm toning down. So anyway, so it's called Stitch Book if you're looking, and it's basically, actually it's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. From the post, I thought it was going to be like, you know, that size, but it's larger. It's fine. But anyway, so they have, you know, the stuff, they have all different stitches on here, and then the markings that you could do the stitch on. All right, so it's all kinds of different, oops, sorry, hold on, let me do it this way. So it's not bound, they're all individual. But here's in the middle. So this is, I guess you could choose to do whatever stitches you want, your practice. here's another one. So that's another one. You can do whatever you want. And then here's some specific ones. And then French knots, buttonholes, all that stuff. Okay, and then the page I started on. Take the clip out. I was stitching these in hand and just using these little clips to hold the roll. But that's the page there. And this is what I started. I started with a running stitch, threaded running, whipped running, stepped threaded running. What is that? And then outline. So I thought, you know what, that's really cool. So I'm not gonna, you know, just whenever I feel like it. I like that it's just little things. And so and I did running stitch along the borders. They don't look very straight there, actually. Oh, it looks terrible. Hey, I'm just learning, okay? So don't judge. But what I was gonna say was, what I'm doing is so I just want to do one, and I'll just pull up the YouTube video as to how to do it, and then do it, because I don't know how to do this stuff, and there's no instructions. It doesn't come with any instructions, so I will just pull up a YouTube video and then practice. So this, I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna give that a go. That's just the cover. I'm gonna give that a go, and just, you know, whenever I feel like it, I will try it. And then sometimes things like couching or whatever that I know does show up, or French knots or colonial knots or whatever, those things do show up in cross stitch, and so I can practice them on here first before I go and put them in my project, right? So that will be cool. Sorry for the crinkling again, but that came with, sorry. Okay, so that came with a little kit like that, with all the materials you need. So it came with all these colors of thread, a bunch of needles, more than what's needed for just this thing. So I'm not using this. I'm not using this thread. I started off using the purple for the running stitch, and it was just knotting nonstop on me. So I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to use this thread. I am going to use my paint box floss. It's a little thicker, and that way I can also see the stitches better, right, when I'm going back to refer and stuff, because they'll be bigger than just the thread. But now I have a little sewing kit, I guess. Okay, so that was my final new start. But so we have a couple of other things. So one is I need a replacement for my 2 threads a day. In my last video, I asked you guys to vote on whether I should work on my oldest WIP, which would be Fall Fairy from Dimensions, or whether I should work on this is my oldest, or I should work on the project with the least amount of stitches. and I had pulled that up. That was a sampler by Chronicles of Narnia. Well, most people chose the oldest WIP, which would be that Fall Fairy. So I was gonna do that, and I don't know, I think I made a mistake in there somewhere, and I didn't, when I picked it up, I just didn't have the brain power to try to figure that out first. So I decided to pick up the project with the least amount of stitches. I also didn't want to work on a sampler, so I did not work on that Chronicles of Narnia piece. The next project that had the least amount of stitches only has like 40 stitches less than that one, and that is Funky Chickens. And so that's what I decided to pick up for that time. And I'll just show you what that looks like. It is from Satsuma Street, and that is what they will look like. So it's 3 pieces. So I had one of them complete, and I had just started the second one. And so what I decided to do, because I didn't want to try to figure anything out. I just wanted to stitch. So that's what I did. That's why I picked this one up. And so there you can see the first one that's completed. This one says, underneath it says, "Oh, for Cluck's sake." This one, I don't remember what it says, but I just barely, goes this way. I just barely started it, and actually I put in this whole flower in the wrong spot, and I had to rip it out and do it again. So I did all of that, and I did this here. So not a ton of stitching in this. I'm trying to see. Well, I don't know how many stitches. It's just 2 threads, and the second thread includes the piece that I had to rip out. So, you know, maybe a thread and a half is in here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to actually do both. So I think a lot of people do just one thread a day. I decided I'm going to do 2 threads a day, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate days. So I'll do one day with this, and then one day the next day with this. Whatever I feel, or now I'm thinking maybe I'll do 1 week and 1 week. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll do 2 threads a day. So this week I'm working on Funky Chickens. Next week I'll work on this, and I'll keep rotating between those 2 until one of them is completed, swap it out, and then do it again. So I'll get you guys to vote on whatever the next one will be. I still have a ways to go on this. I think this one has another, I don't know how many stitches are in this because it's a paper pattern, but quite a bit. I'll show you where I am on that one. This one has another like 6,000 stitches or so it's going to be a little while. This one, I'll show you where I am, even though I'm not going to be working on it until next week. That's where I am there. So it's not huge, right? Like this is the size of the fabric. So it's not massive. And obviously I was working on it in hand. I don't know if I will continue to do that. I'll probably put it in a Q-snap, but we'll see. So yeah, so I just have to spend some time, maybe on the weekend, I'll spend some time and figure out where my mistake was, because, you know, I didn't make a note for myself or anything to make it easier for me, right? But anyways, that's what I'm going to do for my 2 threads a day. Okay, so I'm just going to alternate weeks and do my 2 threads a day. Thank you to the so a bunch of you commented on my last video about, you know, sort of best practices, I guess. Thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it. Especially the one, sorry, I can't remember who it was, but one of you said, you know, like do 2 threads a day, no more, no less. Do that, make that the first stitching you do. Do your 2 threads, like I said, no more, no less, and then put it away. And then work on your other stitching. Well, that's been working out for me, because I think on the first day, like before I read that comment, on the first day I was like, oh, I don't feel like that. I'm gonna work on something else first, and then I'll come back to that one before the end of the day. Well, I never did get back to it, right? So yeah. So after that, then I read that comment and I'm like, yeah, that's a really good idea. So that's what I've been doing, is that would be the first stitching that I do. Put my 2 threads in, that's it, and then I move on. It's a bit weird for me. It's different for me because I like to do a lot of stitches. Like, I don't like to switch projects every, you know, little while. So I wasn't sure how it was going to work for me. Some of you said the same thing, you know, you'd like to get a really good stitching session, but just doing the two strands has been, it's been kind of nice, because it's no stress, right? So we'll see how that goes. But so that's my 2 threads a day, 2 projects, alternating, and we have to pick a new start. So let's do that. Okay. Excuse me. All right, ready? Dragon Race into the Night. Awesome. Oh my gosh, I've been wanting to start that. Let me show you what that's going to look like. So this is artwork by Rose Kahn. It was charted by Pain Free Crafts, and that is what it's going to look like. I know that's not going to, it's a little better. This is a big piece. It's 850 by 631. And I think what I'm gonna do, so I think I have to just check, I have to double check, but I think it'll work. So when I ordered fabric for Catching Rays, I ordered 2 different counts of fabric. So I ordered 25 count, because I ordered a couple years of that, because I didn't have any more 25 count of you know, of a decent size. But then I also ordered 36 count. The reason I ordered 36 count is because I've been watching a bunch of people lately on Flosstube that have been doing full coverages on smaller counts. So Sarah the Stitching Mommy is doing 40 count, I think, which, oh my gosh, I am so impressed with. My eyes would just not, well, I don't know. I would definitely need my magnifiers. I think she's actually not using magnifiers, which is amazing. But yeah, I would definitely need magnifiers, and I would definitely only be able to do it in short spurts. And I've seen a bunch of people use 32 count, and with both the 32 and the 40, they're doing 1/1 half cross. Well, I had tried the 32 count 1/1 half cross, and I didn't like I did not like the coverage. There's still way too much fabric that shows through. I like, you know, a more coverage. I like my full coverage to be full coverage. So I decided, okay, well, let me order some 36 count. I'll try that and see if that's better. And then I'll just use 1/1 half cross on that if that is better. So I had initially ordered that 36 count for catching rays, and then I thought, oh my gosh, you know what? This piece is so gigantic. I don't know that I'm going to be able to. I don't know. I just decided in the end to put it on 25 count. But I'm thinking now if it should be big enough for this, because this is smaller than catching rays. This Dragon Race into the Night, it's smaller than catching rays. So I'm thinking I'm going to try this on the 36 count. Yeah, I think so. If I end up doing it or not, you'll find out in the next time. So yeah, so that will be my new start. So we've talked about pretty much everything. I've showed you my book. Signups for the retreat. Signups for the retreat are still going strong. There's still spots available. So if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? I have heard from a bunch of people that they were just waiting to save some money, or waiting to organize some time off and stuff. So I know that there are still a bunch of people there. People are signing up every day. There are still spaces available. I don't know for how long, but I'm looking forward to that. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else to chat about. We're at an hour. If you've still stuck around till now, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And if you haven't already, hit that like and the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified of when I post new videos. I've had a bump in subscribers. Thank you so much. Oh, I hit 2,000 subscribers. That's amazing. So I think what I'm gonna do is, when I hit 2,500 subscribers, I will do another. I'll do another giveaway. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your spending time with me. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you're healthy, happy, safe, and spending lots of time with your loved ones and your stitching. And as always, be kind, because you never know what the person you're talking to or writing to is going through. All right, my friends,